For the NBA, the 60s were not about changing styles of play. They were about growth in popularity and size. By 1970, it had expanded from an 8-franchise, mostly small-town league to one that included 17 teams and stretched across the country. But with Bill Russell's retirement in 1969, the sun had finally set on the Celtic dynasty, and a fresh generation of players now had their chance to stretch the game's stylistic boundaries. One of them would help reshape the league with the force of his creative vision. He would come to be known as the Doctor, but he entered the basketball world simply as Julius Erving.
I think taking the ball to the hoop and dunking the basketball, particularly against bigger opponents, was an expression of sorts. You know, if you dunk the ball over a little guy, you're supposed to, right? But now you get a guy 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, you know, you pull a play off on him, then he's got something to think about. That was, you know, playing instinctive basketball. It was just letting it flow from you. It probably was getting a glimpse of the game in the 90s, in the 70s. So, you know, my game was probably a little bit ahead of its time.
Even before Julius Erving made his impact felt on the NBA, the climate of change was clear.
Well, I think it was an era where people were looking for individuality. People were not afraid to veer from the path and try to leave their own footprints.
Guys were more creative in a strange way. And I think that sort of caught up in the general culture. We were looking for a little more flamboyance.
Pete was clearly one of the first mega personalities that broke onto the scene, and the way he handled the basketball so flippantly and so carelessly.
Pistol Pete was very much like a renegade kind of a radical figure. Pistol Pete took shots, made passes. It wasn't just that he did it effectively, he did it just for the sense of self-expression. I'm not just playing the ball to make the sharp pass. I'm doing it because it looks like fun.
Earl Monroe, it was swish, 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 swish.
He dribbled with the ball as if it was a yo-yo.
Jerking, 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 spinning.
You had to have your own thing, and it couldn't be like Earl Monroe. You had to be Earl the Pearl Monroe. You couldn't be like Walt Frazier. You had to be Clyde Frazier, like Bonnie and Clyde.
And he had like one of them sombrero hats and a big cape, so he looked like a superhero.
But it was just a general sense, I think, in America of like a more sense of let's just do our own thing. What's that phrase? We'll do our thing. Do your thing.
But while NBA players were pushing the envelope, a young upstart league was trying to tear it open.
And now here's George Mikan, commissioner of the ABA.
You know, I've been associated with basketball all my life, and I can't remember an occasion which has given me more personal satisfaction than the basketball game you are going to see in just a few seconds.
People got to remember that the ABA was started on the idea of being entertaining.
It was wackier, more open, it had more dunking, it had the three-point shot, it had that wacky, multicolor, polycolor ball.
It's all about running and gunning and shooting more times than you. Our whole theory was, if we shoot 100 times, we shoot 130.
Here's a long lead pass, right down the lane, all the way, layup good! Oh, up there! Driving to the lane, up into the air, the shot looks good, it is!
I mean, these guys can put on a show, and in the ABA, I mean, part of the deal was the show.
And the unquestioned star of the show was Julius Erving.
And there is Julius Erving. Look at that move behind the back. Oh!
It wasn't Julius Erving, it was Dr. J, which meant when he got on the floor, on the court, he operated on guys.
Without question, without any doubt, the absolute greatest forward that has ever put on a pair of basketball shoes.
He had this big afro.
You know, his hair would always be flying in the back as he's flying through the air.
He had these large old hands, you see. When he palmed the ball, it looked like a little orange in his hand.
To Dr. J.
He was, in the ABA, the symbol of the league. He wasn't just its biggest star, he was the league.
And that sends everyone reeling. Julius Erving!
With the Doctor lending credibility to the ABA, a competition for top talent began.
Artist, the big question here is, why did you choose the ABA over NBA?
Well, I like the colors of the basketball.
You like that better?
Yes.
And players started to jump between the leagues.
Do you know yet what you're going to do next year?
No, I really don't. Right now, I know that I have a
A
contract.
cross-pollination of players began, and as flashy ABA-bred stars mixed with the NBA's more traditional ones, the league's pace of change was pushed to its limit.
The basketball was kind of a stage for them to perform, as opposed to everyone kind of just playing on a team and doing their role.
Cowan Celtics would win 2 championships in the 70s and provide a finals series that some regard as the greatest of all time.
Garherd turnaround shot in the air. It's good. I don't believe it. Garfield Hurd at the buzzer. We've got a third overtime in a Boston Garden.
But Boston no longer set the tone for the decade. Great teams like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Milwaukee Bucks and Rick Barry's Golden State Warriors rose up to become champions. Only to lose their delicate team balance and eventually trade their stars. Finally, in 1976, the 2 leagues would merge, and the NBA's balance of power shifted once again.
I'm no longer a New York Net, I'm a Philadelphia 76er, and everyone else as well as myself might as well get used to it.
Julius, the doctor.
And the 76ers were really the team, I think, that really brought that other style, brought that other energy into the NBA. Because not only did they get Dr. J, they also had George McGinnis, who was also a very free-flowing kind of player. They had Darryl Dawkins, Dr. Duncan. So the 76ers were really like this traveling circus.
People used to get mad, and this is no lie. People used to get mad when they missed our layup line. Before the game, this is warm up before the games. We had dunks. You see how these guys got the dunks for halftime now and the champion slam dunks? They couldn't touch the dunks we were doing back then. We were doing some crazy things.
I had the rub roaster, the bun toaster, the left-handed spine tiller supreme, right-handed spine tiller supreme.
They are the Philadelphia 76ers, the greatest collection of individual talent ever assembled on one basketball team.
Dramatically, the 1977 finals would pit the Sixers against the Portland Trail Blazers, a team built around a player who was the model of traditional basketball philosophy.
There have been basketball players more talented than Bill Walton, and there have been basketball players more unselfish than Bill Walton. But there has never been a player so talented and so unselfish.
That 77 championship series between Portland and Philadelphia was a perfect contrast. The individualism, the showmanship of the 76ers and the quiet, reserved teamwork of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Blocked. Walton picked up by Lucas. Down to Johnny Davis. Drives the middle. Look at him go.
As always, the most spectacular highlights belonged to the 76ers, but the trophy would go to the Trailblazers.
Here we go. The inbound of McGinnis. Drive, stop, pump, shoot, short, no good. And the game is over! The Portland Trailblazers have won the World Championship.
I've never coached a better player. I've never coached a better competitor. And I've never coached a better person than Bill Walton.
Though Portland may have struck a blow for team basketball, Bill Walton would be lost to injury the next year, and the Blazers would be added to the list of disappearing title holders. Ironically, it would fall to the 76ers leader, Julius Erving, to take the role of NBA standard bearer.
Every city he went to was a sellout. And when you get to that arena, fans were rooting for Dr. J, but rooting for their team. And as long as they saw the doctor perform and do something spectacular, they went home happy.
He put a little extra one on that one.
But even the doctor could not stem a rising tide of NBA problems.
The National Basketball Association, in its 33rd season, is troubled by diminishing crowds and declining television ratings, signs that fan interest may be waning.
There's so many great players in the league now that, all of them kind of nullified each other out. And what people want to come out and see now is, total teamwork, and that's something I think that's really missing in the game now.
Suddenly caught in the harsh light of public scrutiny, the league saw its troubles spread off the court as well.
And there'd been so much hype about how the NBA was going to be the sport of the 70s. And then when it didn't turn out that way, people got very critical. And one thing that they particularly got critical about was that it was too black.
When the Knicks had their first all-black team, guys would say these are the Knickerbockers. I heard that comment a lot. So you had all these different undercurrents. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the game was in this sort of wrenching kind of identity crisis.
The causes of the NBA's troubles are varied. 40% of all seats at NBA games are empty. Television ratings are down 18%. The crisis may not be far away.